afternoon. Ralph Hartman here out on a Dollar Tree parking lot. I was just into the store, a friendly store, and made a purchase and decided it'd be all right to make a video out here. Beautiful day here in Sarasota, nice and getting warm and a cool breeze. Anyway, I remember, in the previous video, I mentioned being robbed one time in downtown Los Angeles back in 1992. And I think it's actually appropriate and actually important to go ahead and mention the detail. I had arrived from Medford, Oregon, where I worked as a front desk clerk and in maintenance in a motel named the Shiloh Motor Inn in Medford. And I was staying temporarily in a VA center there in White City, saving my money to proceed on. I was intending to go back to Denver. So anyway, I saved my money, and there was some strife that occurred there, and near the end of August there was almost, I really got kind of irritated because staff didn't want to acknowledge that there was suddenly even worse, louder and more intense interference from traffic and even alarm sounds in the air conditioning systems. And what had happened was, I didn't know yet, but after leaving Medford, I stopped into Redding, California to get some rest, traveling on the Greyhound again. And I checked into, without any suspicion or thinking about my former stepfather's company, I checked into a Thunderbird Motor Lodge. And on TV in the front desk area was a ABC News broadcast saying that Hurricane Andrew was hitting at the area of Miami that I grew up in, southwest section of Miami. Well, right away I understood that I was hearing some kind of a crime wave all the way across the nation that had an origin with the Hurricane Andrew. So anyway, it was a very intense period of time, very loud and very difficult time. By the time I got to Los Angeles, I was really tired, and to proceed to Denver, I had to spend a night sitting on the Greyhound lot, and so I decided that if I'm going to have to sit around all night, I'm going to go and get a six-pack of beer. And I walked out to the main road in front of the Greyhound station, and it's a long road, a lot of lights, but I didn't see any convenience stores. And then a young black man walked to me and said that he'd go ahead and give me a ride, that he'd walk me to a nearby store if I would just give him whatever I might have, like if I had a few dollars, whatever. He didn't, he was courteous, and it was probably around 11 o'clock at night, and I was really so tired that I didn't even think about much about the possibility of danger, and I went ahead and walked across a busy freeway through a loading docks area, refrigeration trucks, and that kind of industrial area, and until he walked me to a liquor store that had iron bars on the window, and I bought a six-pack of beer, and then he walked me back to across the street from the Greyhound station. So I appreciate it. I gave him a few dollars that I had and the last of a bottle of vodka. So I was able to proceed all right, but all through the walk, persons of the Abuse Family Consortium were trying to cause something to happen by straining their voices from distant traffic even, wanting to repeat any possible syllable they possibly could about the young man's commenting along the way. Actually, I think he was thinking himself as being partly diplomatic about his commenting, being courteous, and he didn't threaten or anything. Although at the end of the walk, he did show me that he had a kitchen knife in his jacket, saying, "But because you can't be too sure around here late at night." So anyway, I was fortunate that he was actually courteous instead of brandishing anything. But what happened is, as soon as he started to walk back away and I started towards the Greyhound station, usual young gays' shrill voices started screaming and ranting in traffic sound for the other man to hear and for anyone else to hear also, repeatedly, constantly screaming the name of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So anyway, it was really irritating. And I don't know how long they continued, but in the busy downtown traffic area, they ran his name many times. And of course, they were pointing at me about it. And others got a little bit resentful of saying, probably something like, well, he looked kind of down on his luck, but now all of a sudden they're associating him with some big powerful actor. So anyway, I got robbed a little bit later on. A different young black man who courteously greeted, but looked kind of skeptical, and decided that he should maybe have the six-pack of beer instead, and got my shoulder bag. Well, the shoulder bag actually had been given to me by an old uncle in Denver I never knew very well. The trip to Oregon had started in Denver. I had been forced to the outside in the cold winter, and I was just absolutely tired of it. And there had been an advice for me to travel as far as Hollywood, even by an official of the Bush administration. So I had been working on a lot of matters that I thought might be important to our people back then also. All of it was put into the carrying bag that was then lost on the night before my birthday in '92 in Los Angeles. When I saw what the area looked like during the daytime, what kind of an alley the man probably walked through after stealing the carrying bag, it was really depressing. So anyway, like I said before, I ended up in Grand Junction next. And what happened then, besides losing the jacket under the bridge, I was sitting in front of the Burger King in Grand Junction, not far away from the sheriff's department. And an old man walked to me and offered me to buy me lunch, and so I accepted. And then he said he had some work for me if I wanted it, to clean up after a storm in the nearby town of Fruita. Well, he said he had a lawn out there, and he'd pay me to help clean up the lawn and then dump the lawn waste out wherever. So anyway, he actually said he was the owner of a local tour operator who was preparing for a visit by Vice President Dan Quayle, who I guess arrived to town maybe a day or a couple of days after. So anyway, by the time Dan Quayle arrived to town, there was rumoring that my carrying bag had actually been recovered, that the young man who took it had been irritated but decided to turn it into a campus of University of Southern California. So anyway, I didn't attend the reception. There wasn't a reception, but I guess there was a stadium or whatever where Vice President Quayle spoke. I didn't attend that, but I did notice the headline photo on the Grand Junction newspaper front page showing a scene of Dan Quayle either catching or tossing a Frisbee, and the indication was they're kind of letting me know that the bag had been recovered. So anyway, the bag was full of a lot of amateur, but really a lot of interesting and probably still important kind of subject matter. And I'll detail about that, a few of those items soon. And that brings me back to the these days focus of work continuing. Have a good day. Thank you.